I've had some people asking for an update on the cabin. So it's been a year since we first built it. Haven't changed a whole bunch. Just added some ventilation in the foundation. All right, so it's January. It's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit right now. Gonna spend some time in the cabin today. Haven't been up here for a little bit, so the first thing I need to do is build a fire. We recently picked up this Vogelzang boxwood stove. The old one's sitting right here for now. The jury's still out which one I'm gonna end up using. I have a feeling that the first one here, the Vogelzang Defender, it's really good at making heat, and it's nice because you can see the fire and it's nice and cozy. This one's better for cooking. It just uses a ton of wood, but it does have the removable burners on top, which is nice. So it does a good job of making heat, and like I said, it's got a lot more area to cook on, so it's more functional. I'd say for how we use this cabin, this one's probably overall better, but if we really needed to survive up here, I'd like to have this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a fire going, and then the plan today is to try out our new Coleman stovetop oven. We're going to see if we can break some bread in it and see how hard it is to regulate the temperature on top of the wood stove. All right, so like I mentioned, we want to try out our new Coleman stovetop oven. So we're just going to make a simple recipe. It's just a white bread. We're just going to add some yeast to some water, and then it has to rise for a little bit. Then we'll mix up the dough. It has to rise for about an hour. Then we put it in the pan and let it rise for about another hour, and then it'll be ready to cook. If you want to try this recipe yourself, I'll have it listed in the description below. Here's the oven I'm talking about. These are pretty popular. We tried cooking bread on this in a Dutch oven, and it actually worked really good, just using a cast iron Dutch oven. But we wanted to try this out. That way we could expand it to, you know, easily cooking like muffins and other stuff. So we're gonna see if this works on here. All right, so it's slowly coming up to temperature. Seeing as this thing is designed to sit on top of the flame of a Coleman cook stove, I went ahead and took one of the burner covers off. So hopefully that allows us to come up to temperature a little bit easier. We're baking bread, so we wanted about 350. All right, so far it's taken it quite a while to come up to temperature. We're only about 175 degrees inside the oven. And the top of the oven is, you know, over 400 degrees, or the top of the stove. I think part of the problem is there's too many ventilation holes in this the way it is. It would probably work better in this application if those holes were all covered up. It's designed to be sitting directly on top of a cook stove, you know, with gas heat. So I think that's part of the problem we're having here. All right, so it got up to about 300 for a second. That's leveled off around between 250 and 275, and that's about the hottest I'm able to get it. You know, this stove's giving off a ton of heat, too much heat. So that's as hot as we're gonna be able to get the stove. So we're gonna go ahead and put the bread in, and it will be able to cook at that temperature. It just takes a little bit longer to cook. We'll put it in for about 30 minutes, and then we'll take a peek at it. It could take about 45 minutes to an hour, just depends on the temperature. All right, so it's been a half hour. We're just gonna check on it. Maintaining, we're about 250 degrees before we open the door. So we'll give it another 15 minutes or so. All right, so it's been about 40 minutes. It's starting to smell like bread, so it's probably getting close to being done here. So we're gonna take it out and check it. All right, so it turned out pretty good. It needs to cool down a little bit more. You know, obviously the Coleman didn't get quite as warm as I wanted it to. I think there's a few things I could do to improve that. Maybe put some fire bricks in the bottom and then build some kind of, you know, like thermal blanket to put over it. Again, it's not really the fault of the oven. It's designed to be sitting on top of a propane or white gas powered cook stove. So we just thought we'd try it out up here in the cabin to see how it works for that. Again, we had really good luck cooking it in the Dutch oven, so we're just trying a couple different options. It's good to be prepared and practice all this type of stuff ahead of time. It's always a good idea to have a couple different ways to do stuff, so that's why we bought it, just to add to the stockpile of ways to cook stuff, especially if there's a power outage or something like that. Make it a little bit easier. All right, so that pretty much wraps up this video. Again, just a little update video in the cabin. Thought I'd bring you along while we bake some bread up here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be sure to like the video. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. And be sure to check out the other off-grid cabin videos that I have. I'll have the link to the playlist in the description. Until next time, we'll see you later.